Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins, and today I'm talking to Dr. Jim Fantauzzo. Dr. Fantauzzo is the president of Creative Training Solutions, an organization of specialized management consultants, management trainers, and professional speakers. He is recognized as one of the industry's finest speakers and seminar leaders in the areas of Christian leadership coaching, total quality management, management development, and employee motivation programs. His philosophy utilizes a realistic, hands-on approach in which to apply and implement training activities at all levels. His book, On the Shoulders of Leaders, was published in 2016. Hello, Jim. First of all, welcome, and thank you for coming back on Book Talk Radio Club to talk to me about your book, On the Shoulders of Leaders.
No, thank you, Claire, for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be with you and have the opportunity to share my knowledge about the book.
Oh, thank you. Jim, I'm sure you'll agree that there are many books on the subject of team leadership. What makes On the Shoulders of Leaders different?
Well, based upon my research, I knew that many responsible leaders are busy people in all segments of business. So the way I wrote the book is very short. It's only 138 pages, 32 chapters, and the chapters are very short and concise. And any reader who references a chapter is able to retrieve the information very, very quickly. Very quickly. They don't have to follow chapters 1 through 32. They can jump around. But to amplify upon that, On the Shoulders of Leaders contains realistic approaches to implementing leadership at all levels in an organization, from a supervisor to a president. And based upon my research, the contents of the book have clearly proven ideas and strategies that have worked. The chapters are rich with realistic information, and the book is also a team-centered book, which means it embraces synergy with all team members.
Well, that's wonderful. That's a good reason why it's different. So why the title On the Shoulders of Leaders?
Well, I chose that after a lot of thought. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, weeks of thought. I chose that title because I felt that it defines the leadership of all people who are leaders, and it rests on their shoulders, in which at every level, in any organization, teams are designed by effort to improve team differences. So on the shoulders of leaders simply means every leader has responsibility on their shoulders in which they carry out their scope of responsibility.
On the Shoulders of Leaders is a team-centered leadership book, as you said, and can be a resource for anyone in a position of authority. What is a team-centered leadership book, and what does that mean?
Well, I'll try to amplify upon my answer, Claire. The team is clearly chosen to carry out the vision and mission, strategies, the goals and priorities of the organization. The team has developed, ideally, an atmosphere in which the team members feel supported, they're trusted, and that's a key link. And they like each other. They work well to each other. Team members have a sense of belonging. And organizations, once again, are built on teams who accept responsibility for continuous improvement. They feel they can participate, and leadership is very much shared. So among team members, a team develops, in my view, a culture, a distinctive spirit of their own. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. On your website, creativetrainingsolutions.net, you say lack of skills and experience may have a negative impact on the employees who are under the supervision of a particular manager. What are these particular skills that are needed to be a good manager?
Well, they must understand the importance of inspiring team members. They must display trust. I mean, I've worked for people that you didn't trust. And honestly, productivity went down, morale went down, and so on. They must be an excellent communicator. They must be willing to be a problem solver. They must have the technical competence in which to lead, whether it's healthcare or hospitality or high technology. The leader must know the importance of establishing a vision and mission for the organization and giving it life. They must know how to conduct effective meetings. I'm sure, much like you, I've attended meetings that were a waste of time, 1, 2, 3 hours, and very costly. A leader must be approachable, whether it's an open door policy or just walking around the organization. They must be approachable. They must have a high level of integrity. They must understand the importance of how to motivate employees. They must understand the importance of encouraging excellent performance. Communication should be personalized or individualized. Understand the importance for team members for advice. Open. They must be open to new procedures in an effort to improve the organization's quality, customer service, morale, marketing, and so on.
Yeah,
Very important.
Definitely.
Very important.
So without these skills, there may be a negative impact on employees. What kind of negative impact are we talking about?
Oh my gosh, Claire. I've seen it in my consulting background and teaching background. The employees the morale of the employees is going to be low. There's a high probability there's going to be poor quality of the service or the product.
Yeah.
There's going to be high employee turnover. There's going to be a waste of resources. Visible employee stress because they really don't trust the people they're working for. The image of the company may be tarnished in the community. Sales may decline. You may see more accidents. And there are so many other common demotivators like unclear expectations, poorly designed work, constant change, hypocrisy, and so on and so forth. I've seen it. I've seen it to the point where organizations almost fail because the leadership is not there.
Why do you think these companies then choose such bad leaders?
I'm sorry?
Why do you think these companies then choose such bad leaders?
Well, I think it's a lot related to the selection process. They don't know how to interview, and if they conduct an interview, it's not effective. They don't check resources. They don't check academic background, and so on. So it all comes down to the interviewing person or interviewing team to be able to really affect an effective interview. And many people don't know how to do it.
No.
They don't know how to do it. So it's sad, but that's...
It's true. It's true. So in your opinion, who would you cite as a great leader, well, in any field?
I gave that question a lot of thought. and in my view, there are many. However, the one that I admire truly the most is a person by the name of Sir Ernest Shackleton, who lived from 1874 to 1922, and he was the captain of the HMS Endurance of the Royal Navy.
Yep.
And he encountered a serious shipwreck in the Antarctic, 1,200 miles approximately from civilization, no hope for rescue, but he was able to save 27 men, his entire crew. Every member survived in good health, good spirits. And in my view, I mean, there are many, it could be sports, it could be business, but he clearly established a path to proactive leadership. He's great. He was great, really.
Let's go through a few chapters of On the Shoulders of Leaders, and you can tell me what they're all about. Let's start off with the voice of leadership. Now, what does that mean?
Well, the chapters, once again, were written in such a way to offer all readers practical, daily leadership wisdom, advice, and inspiration to meet the many challenges they face on a daily basis. The book provides realistic and useful information to include case studies. They were also, again, written in such a short format that any reader who bought the book could easily comprehend the contents of the chapters and put them to use quickly. Again, I recognize the fact that managers, leaders at all levels don't have a lot of time to read a 500 or 600 page leadership book. That's why mine is only, again, 138 pages and 32 chapters. So I wrote it in such a way where they could jump around from chapter to chapter and retrieve the relevant information to enhance their skills.
The importance of teamwork. We've talked about leadership of teams. Now, what makes a good team in your view?
Well, many things. Okay. I think a good team is a team that produces outstanding results and they succeed in achieving despite blockages or difficulties. Team members feel responsible for their individual performance. They trust each other.
Yes.
They like each other. They are committed to achieving common objectives. They work well together, and they produce high quality results. There's clearly openness and trust among the members. Very visible. There's respect among the members, and there's dignity. And even though they disagree like professionals. And that's what makes a good team, and it's not easy to achieve.
No, it isn't. Definitely. Sharing leadership. Years ago when I was working in the corporate world, my experiences showed me that this didn't work. Managers would have petty squabbles and disagree about almost everything. It seemed to me that ego always got in the way. What do you think?
Well, again, I think it's problematic that you have. I'll reference the heading of proper placement. Proper placement is the result of finding the right people for the right job at the right time to run the business. And this goes back to effective interviewing. And that's a problem where many people are put in positions and they shouldn't be. They're either overqualified or they're underqualified. And that's a problem. So that's what I think is the problem in many industries, in healthcare, high technology, academia, so on and so forth. And it's unfortunate. So an effective leader must be a good teacher, must be able to share their knowledge. This will also display self-confidence to the team members. Self-esteem will improve. Team members will become more committed because their scope will be expanded.
Yes.
And they will feel more useful.
Absolutely.
And, there isn't any equation for 110% leadership effectiveness. I call it management by perspiration. You got to learn from it and keep working. You really do.
Very much so. The clarity of leadership. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's a pretty long list. I'm not sure if you want me to cut the list, but there are so many.
Just give me an idea. Give me an idea.
Sure. Vision and mission, trust, honesty, integrity, honor, building teams, teamwork, goals and objectives, having a global focus, having strong ethics, strong communication skills, a customer service orientation, conducting effective meetings, understands the importance of coaching and counseling, can be a good trainer, open door policy, again, very approachable, understands the importance to motivate, and so on. A lot of this, for any of the readers, can be found on page 68 of my book.
How to conduct, we were talking before about how to conduct an effective, useful and purposeful meeting. So how does a leader conduct an effective, useful and purposeful meeting? I mean, you said you've been to so many, as have I, and they've all been, you sit there for 2 or 3 hours and you almost fall asleep. What are the key points of conducting an effective, useful and purposeful meeting?
Well, based on my experience and the way I then learned how to conduct a meeting should be announced approximately 7 to 10 days in advance to all the people through email or memo or word of mouth, something, to have them plan their day to attend the meeting. The advanced announcement should be communicated in such a way that would be normal to the culture. Email, memo, whatever. Start and end the meeting on time without exception.
Yeah.
Consider starting with a short icebreaker in order to get the attendees to feel more comfortable with each other and to prepare for the agenda that's before them. Yeah. The person chairing the meeting should try to involve every individual in attendance. The chair may require training to better understand group dynamics, which is important. So those are some of the key factors to conducting a meeting, really important.
The Depository of Truth is one of the other chapters. That sounds interesting. What is the Depository of Truth?
Well, it sort of touches upon, there's a linkage between everything I've said, but to amplify upon that, Depository of Truth is based upon the leader's role modeling, the leader's display of integrity, the leader that can be trusted, the leader knows how to build teams and individualizes his effort or her effort to each team member. They must truly display role modeling with regard to integrity and trust. If they don't, there's going to be poor productivity, morale problems, quality, turnover, and so on that I referenced earlier. So there truly is a fine line between all of this.
On the Shoulders of Leaders is full of case studies. Why did you decide to use case studies, and can you give me one example, please?
Sure. Through my writing, my research, and editing the book, I decided to interview many kinds of leaders in different organizations.
Right.
Specifically healthcare, high technology, hospitality, and academia. And I felt by talking to them about their leadership, about their objectives, about their training, about their education, how they treat people, how they communicate, how they motivate people, how they accomplish objectives, would be lending credence and support to the chapters within the book.
Right.
It's a bridge, really. The chapters are bridge to the case studies.
Right.
And in the book, there are many case studies associated with all those major industries that I referenced. Very important.
Let's talk about you now, Dr. Jim Fantauzzo, author and president of Creative Training Solutions. So what exactly is Creative Training Solutions?
Claire, we offer services associated with speaking, keynote, workshops, facilitation of workshops, coaching, counseling, even to the point where we talk to people about suicide coaching. Wow. And I'm taking calls all the time. We provide additional service with regard to writing of leadership articles, employee handbooks, newsletters, and so on. I've spoken, and my colleagues too have spoken to audiences, 1,000 people to 12,000 people in the past on the topics that I just referenced.
Amazing.
It's very, very important. So that's who we are, and I know the next topic is, how did I get into this? Well, I got into this through my human resources professional background.
Right.
And as I expanded my scope to the corporate level in human resources, I went into a lot of training and teaching, and I fused all this background together to then start my own business in an effort to truly make the world a better place. And I felt by doing this, by preparing a book and by speaking, consulting, and so on, I would enhance the knowledge base of leaders at all levels, so they would feel more comfortable and therefore be more effective. And I also concluded that this is the only time we own. And I really wanted to make a difference with my work, that I'd lived it all to make the world a better place.
That's highly laudable.
Well, I also took down the philosophy to truly, Claire, treat people as more important than myself, and it helps a great deal. I find that approach very rewarding.
Jim, you're recognised as one of the industry's finest speakers and seminar leaders in the areas of Christian leadership coaching, total quality management, management development and employee motivation programs. I've noticed that you carry out some of these talks on cruise ships. That must be fun. I bet you've missed doing those during the pandemic.
Oh, I do. I going back a year, I've had to cancel book signings. I've had to cancel workshops. I've had to cancel appearances on cruise ships. I've had to cancel appearances in bookstores and so on. But it's starting to come back, Claire.
Good.
It really is, and I'm happy to see it. We're starting to achieve a new level of normalcy. At least I hope so. It's been a terrible year for the entire world.
Absolutely. What is the one most important piece of advice that you would give to leaders and managers, particularly during these rather strange times that we live in at the moment?
I would strongly urge them to try and practice adding value to themselves with new knowledge.
Yeah.
Stay current in their field, their profession.
Yes.
I would suggest they ask themselves, what can I do today to make my team and myself more valuable?
Yeah.
Because the success of the team depends on the quality of their thinking and their leadership. I would ask that they consider this term. Think about Kaizen, Kaizen. That's a Japanese leadership practice. And if somebody accepts that theory, it simply means making one improvement each day as part of your responsibility.
I like that. That's very good.
I would suggest developing good leadership habits. Truly develop good leadership habits and make them their masters. And this one, I thought I would add, they should avoid mental sclerosis. And what that means, Claire, is hardening of the attitudes.
Very good. I like that. Very, very good. I'm just going to return briefly to your book by reading out an absolutely wonderful review for On the Shoulders of Leaders. The approaches are related to business strategies and proven ideas that are the result of the author's experience as a management consultant, speaker, researcher, trainer and corporate human resources professional in the real world of business. The information is rich with realistic ideas and approaches for clear judgment, selecting the right leadership behaviour and capture the true essence of leadership. That is a great review, Jim. Lastly, where can Book Talk Radio Club's listeners purchase On the Shoulders of Leaders?
Oh, many options, Claire. They can go to a Barnes & Noble. They can go to Amazon. They can go to Xulon Press, Xulon Press. They can go to Friesen Press in Vancouver, Canada. They can go to bookstores. They can go to the Ingram Book Company, or they can message me at my email, which is cts7349@msn.com, and I'll be happy to send them a signed copy.
Oh, that's brilliant. All right, well, thank you, Jim. That was just great and very interesting. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club again. I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future. And thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thank you very much, Jim. It was lovely to talk to you again.
Me too, Claire. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You
Bye
too.
for now.
Bye.